Hey everyone, how's it going? Octopus here and welcome back to Union Cross. So, we got two new medals coming out. One is a tier 7. A lot of people are freaking out already. Personally, I don't feel too rushed at the moment. I feel like this is the new pace. Yes, we're getting tier 7s when we're not supposed to, but nobody said we're supposed to be like JP. Nobody said that we're gonna get the same medals in the same order all the time. And if they skip out on all these tier 6s, which is not that many actually, let me get a little list there. Alright, so the list I have basically says that there's 4 pullable tier 6s left, 2 VIP tier 6s, and 3 high score challenge tier 6s left. So, we don't have that much tier 6s left anyways. Yes, they were supposed to be spread out a little bit more, but when you guys really look at it, again, we're not supposed to be just like JP. If we were, then we would have been like that from the beginning, and we would have certain things that we actually want that to make us like JP. And what I mean by that is not that everyone's asking, okay, wow, Kyrie X, the foretellers, all these medals are coming out. Yeah, we want them, but we also want the same treatment that JP has. Now, when we say treatment, we mean like a good amount of content. We want to see content not just being, oh, here's a poll, here's new medals, but then the content they release is very mediocre, or we already done it so many times, or it's just so spread apart, the good ones, that you just kind of get like drifted away from the game very easily. And honestly, guys, it's not that bad because people are busy. You can't just have content every week. And if you do, you got to make sure that they balance it properly. If there's content every week, someone who doesn't play for 2 weeks, they got to make sure that person doesn't fall behind too much, or they'll just quit the game. So they got to sort of balance it to make it where there's content every week that's not going to affect someone who doesn't play that much, but the people who do play are also getting their fix in having fun with the game and playing certain stuff they want to play. Not just pull. But the whole point is that these tier 7s, to me, it's not really like, oh no, tier 7s are here, they're rushing us, I can't get this. Again, guys, you do not have to pull every single medal that comes out. Yes, I understand there's lots of people who want certain medals. I want this Aaron medal. I really like the illustrated Aaron. It looks amazing. He's one of my favorite characters as well. Not like top tier favorite, but I really enjoyed playing him in Final Fantasy X. But sadly, I'm going to skip on it because, one, everyone should be focusing on Kyrie EX if you're going to pull. If you're going to pull for anything that's going on right now, pull for that Kyrie EX. If not, save, because there's other medals coming out that obviously will do better than these tier 6s, especially how they're rushing now. We should expect tier 7s, and there's plenty of tier 7s that are going to be coming out that are so much better. So if they want to do this, then we just got to counter-react with the same way we're staying. Let's say if they release every tier 7 and decide to go back to the tier 6s, technically there's no point in those tier 6s anymore. Yes, some of them are actually better than some of these tier 7s, but there's some of them that if they release every tier 7 first and then go backwards on the tier 6s, then you can just save your jewels then. And right now you need to spend. But by the time all that, something else comes out, you know, that's how the game works. But the whole point is here, even though they're showing us tier 7s now, and if they had to release tier 6s again, there's just spend now, don't spend later. But let's say that they completely take out tier 6s that are supposed to be released and just focus on tier 7s and beyond to catch us up with JP. If they do that, if they decide to not release any of these tier 6s, the 4 more pullable ones, and to go straight to tier 7s, then honestly, we're just exactly where JP is, and now we just need to see what's coming out next by waiting for an update, not by looking into the future of JP and saying, hey, we want to save for that. Now, if we get caught up with JP and we have the same tier 7s they have and we don't know what's coming next, I actually will enjoy that game a lot more, because that way my jewels are worth more. They're worth something, and banners have more value, because now you can look at a banner and say, does this help me at this moment, or do I skip this? Not, hey, look at JP, that medal's better than what just got released, so let's skip this and wait for that. And then by the time that banner comes around, we're like, well, this one's no good anymore because that one looks even better. And that's always going to happen. But if we don't know what's coming out in the future, every banner has to be analyzed and looked at according to what you guys have and what you guys need. So if they do decide to do tier 7s from now on and they skip on those tier 6s, honestly, guys, there's nothing wrong with that, because nothing was said that those tier 6s have to be in our game. They can cut out those tier 6s and go straight to tier 7s and there's nothing we can really do about it. You can't really say anything about it. This is their game. Maybe that's what they want to do. Those were not officially announced for our game. They didn't announce it on the Twitter. They didn't announce it on the Google App Store. They didn't, or iPhone, whatever. They didn't announce in the App Store. These are the medals that are going to come part of this game eventually. Nothing's there. Nothing's set in stone until it's released in the game. Just because JP has it doesn't mean we have to have it. So, honestly, guys, it is from this point, do what you need to do to play, but remember that you don't have to pull for every single banner. Every single medal does not need you do not need it in your game. You do not need every single medal. What you guys need is a setup that works for you, a keyblade that works for you, like you guys see on the screen with me, and that's it. When this seems like it's getting weak, fix it by pulling for a new banner that looks like it will help your gameplay. You can still run this game with tier 4s and complete a majority of the content, a lot of the content. Again, Coliseum is finally when you do pull and you get good medals and your keyblade set up, then you're going to feel better in going to Coliseum. But there's no point to pulling just to jump into Coliseum. Eventually you will get strong. You don't have to wail out and go into Coliseum. You will feel strong eventually, and Coliseum will get easier and easier and easier. Then when it comes to high score challenges, no matter if someone has a Kyrie EX or doesn't, you need a percentage medal. Regardless if someone has Kyrie EX and if someone has a 0.2 Kyrie, the person with the 0.2 Kyrie and higher percentage will get a better score. Now, I'm not talking about like 10% difference. If a 10% difference, then Kyrie EX is obviously going to dominate with that setup. But if we're talking about like the guy with Kyrie EX uses 40%, and then the person with 0.2 Kyrie uses 80%, trust me, that 80% is going to get a better score in the high score challenge. So, there is a lot of stuff going on right now. Tier 7s might be the new, and those tier 6s might come attached with those tier 7 medals. And it's very important to know that tier 6 and tier 7s is not that far apart. It's all about the utility of the medal, what it offers, and what you guys have already. Just because it's tier 7 doesn't mean it's better than a tier 5 or a tier 6. Yes, it's new, it's shiny, but there is tier 5s and tier 6s that are better than some of these tier 7s. And I'm actually going to go over one of them right now. But it all depends on what you guys have. So, I kind of just want to do that little, I guess, not a rant, just a little look at what's really going on right now, and I guess not totally freak out. Just stay calm and realize what's the situation. The situation, it might be all tier 7s from this point on with tier 6s attached to those banners. Or they might bring back in tier 6s and then jump to tier 7s or go half and half. We don't know, but go by what's on your game and what makes you happy. If you want that RN, go for RN. If you want to stay competitive, save your jewels. That's just how it is, guys. Have fun or don't have fun. Pick one. Now, I know most of you guys are saying I can only have fun if I'm able to pass content, and that's what a lot of us YouTubers are here for. Will help you pass the content. You do not need the best and the newest. The best and the newest is for Coliseum. And high score challenges, again, you pull for those current banners. It's not exact. High score challenges are totally different. You can have the world's best setup, but when a high score challenge hits, all those medals are thrown away unless they're the newest medals, because high score challenges are based on percentage. So let's go into this update. Let's talk about these two new medals. I just want to get that out of the way so I don't need to talk about it every video. From this point on, I'll just be analyzing the new medals, talking about the banners, talking about the update like I did before. I just want to get that little, I guess, chaotic moment of Kyrie EX landing another tier 7. It does suck, but we just need to adjust to it. You just got to figure out what you guys really need. So, new banner right here, guys. This is Illustrated RN. Illustrated RN, a medal I really want, but I need to be careful just because of everything I do on here. Strength of 7,424 doesn't really matter because this medal does fixed damage. And this one's actually really interesting because right there you see the max guild is 199. It's 200,000. This medal does 200,000 in 2 hits. So it does 100,000, 100,000 guaranteed. No matter the level of the defense of the enemy, you will be doing 200,000 damage. So any level in Coliseum, you can have a full setup of Illustrated RNs, all gilded, doesn't matter the Keyblade slot, or you guys can go this Illustrated RN here, copycat medal, another copycat medal to copy forward, Illustrated RN sitting here, and a copy medal in your pet slot. So let's say you have 6 illustrated Arens on your Keyblade setup, you're going to be doing enough damage to take away 60 bars of HP on any enemy. Now, that's not just idea. I just thought that was quite interesting that he alone being copied, all gilted, copy medals, copying 2 Arens. So all you need is 2 Arens fully gilted, and then a bunch of copycat medals copying those Arens that are fully gilted. If you have extra attack, you'll be doing more than 60 bars of HP. But just let's say all of them do no extra attack, then you're going to be able to take out any enemy in the game with 60 bars of HP. If they have more than 60 bars of HP, then you guys need some extra attacks on your Arens or your copycat medals. But just Aren alone, a full setup of Arens, 60 bars of HP, and that's pretty good. That is pretty good if you ask me. So I thought that was interesting, but Aren does have his place. Let's say you have a Keyblade setup with Kyrie EX or whatever your setup is in Coliseum. He can finish off enemies that another medal couldn't because it didn't have -60 on it, or your general defense just wasn't doing the trick. This medal could do it. But anybody who has Kyrie EX, you kind of can do whatever you want, but this is guaranteed damage of 200,000. So he's a very good medal, very interesting medal, that's for sure. You don't need to put chips on him. You don't have to put an attack boost on him. He is just solid damage, and you can put a utility skill on him like second chance, defense boost 4, whatever you guys want. He only costs 2 gauges, so it doesn't really matter at that point. So that's illustrated Aren. I might have missed a couple things on him, but I feel like that's good enough to go over him. I do like the medal. The medal does have its place. Is it chase worthy? Depends what you guys are doing in the game, but everything else pretty much can do a lot better. Okay, the new tier 7. Now, what the medal does is really good, but because a lot of you guys have Kyrie EX, you don't really need him, in my opinion. If you have a copycat medal and Kyrie EX, then you pretty much don't need this medal at all, or you shouldn't be chasing for this medal. My reasoning is that, actually I'll add this reasoning after, but let's just talk about what the medal does right now. Lowers defense of all targets by 4 tiers for 1 turn. So defense, general defense, which is really, really important in Coliseum, and this medal does 4 tiers out of 7 in 1 slot. Amazing. Really good medal. Not only that, it's also an AoE, upright speed. It's good for the fairy stars, which you guys see on the screen on my free-to-play account here. But it also lowers the speed defense of all targets by 4 tiers for 1 turn and inflicts more damage or higher HP. So as long as you're healthy, your 1-turny stuff, you're going to have the max multiplier of 10.20, which is kind of low. And this is why I say that tier 7s might be better on utility, but their attack is not as good as medals that are already out. Now, my example here, again, this is for people who don't have Kyrie EX. If you don't have Kyrie EX, or sorry, who do, but if you don't have Kyrie EX, this is a pretty solid medal for general defense down. If you don't already have a setup that has general defense down, this one medal right here being copied on the fairy stars by an HD Shion, that is 8 general defense down, which is only 7, but you guys can do that in those 2 medals right here. You can see where my anti-form is. If HD Shion was right here, and then you had the new illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora and Riku EX, you're having your full general defense down right there, and you guys can get away with the setup of 0.2 Kyries, buffs, and stuff like this. But for everybody who has Kyrie EX, there's no point to pulling for this banner because you might as well chase this illustrated Neku. Now, deal 6 hits, raises strength, speed strength by 4 tiers for 2 turns, and inflicts more damage the more gauges is used this turn. Most likely you're going to go full out on gauges. It doesn't really, the amount of gauges we have now is an issue, so that max multiplier is not going to happen if you have a lot of attack boost gauges on your medals, like attack boost 4 max SP gauge 1. You're not going to really reach the potential of this, but let's say if you do have a Keyblade setup where you do have a lot of gauges being activated in the beginning, then this medal right here, the multiplier is a lot higher. And there's other medals as well that match that medal, the 10.20, or at least close enough that you don't need to pull for this. This is not above and beyond medal. You can really skip out on this one if you have a Kyrie EX. You can skip out on both of these. But my point is, this is a tier 6, that's a tier 7. The only difference is that that tier 7 is guaranteed at 10.20, where illustrated Neku is very situational. But if you do have a Keyblade and a Kyrie EX that lets you use, I think it's 10 SP. If you activate 10 SP before activating him, then you're gonna be able to get that 13.19, and this medal will be a lot stronger than the illustrated Kingdom Hearts 2 Sora and Riku. But again, It's not guaranteed at 13.19, but there is a lot of medals that hit a 9 point something and a 10 that are AoE that you just really don't need to go for this one. Especially if you have Kyrie X right now, you don't really need anything. You can use tier 1s and tier 2s for everything. But the point is, you got to look at these new medals as if the game is going to get a lot harder. And it will. The game will increase in difficulty. So that's it for those medals. Basically, that's all I really want to talk about. The tier 7 and Illustrated Arin, they are very skippable. They're not really needed. Again, Arin is situational in Coliseum, but for everything else, I would say you guys can carry on and save your jewels if you have any left. I know Kyrie X ruined everything, took a lot of people's jewels, but for everyone who pulled her, you're going to have a very easy time for a long time. And even once the game bounces out everything, you're going to be on par with everyone else unless they release another broken medal and they increase the buffing cap to like 15. Now you need to copy your EX Kyrie, and even then, if you copy your EX Kyrie, you're into the buff cap. So I don't know where the game's gonna go from this point. If this is the maximum buffs and we start seeing other medals, we can kind of make our own Kyrie EXs just with more multiple slots. And you guys can already see with Kyrie X, we're only making it to the 3rd slot or the 4th slot. We don't need the other 2 slots. So let's say you don't pull Kyrie X, but you do have your 0.2 Kyrie, and they come up with a medal that has upright buff by 2 or 3 or something. You don't really need Kyrie X. If you really look at how powerful Kyrie X is making everything, if you have the right amount of buffs in 3 medals, and then your 4th medal is a new medal that raises upright or reverse power, then your main medal and your pet medal will be just as strong as someone's setup who uses Kyrie X. And that's content wise. Coliseum wise, it's gonna be a little weaker because 1 medal does what 3 medals can do, but the game will bounce out eventually. And now for one last thing, I read every comment in the comment section. So I haven't seen what you guys have been saying, especially during the poll battles that just happened against Gilly and Lost Prediction. I think I won against Gilly. That was pretty clear in the comment section. Against Lost Predictions, basically that poll battle was kind of a draw, or people are leaning towards mine because my 1 tier 5 medal is actually a lot better than those tier 4 medals. But at the same time, a lot of people saying Lost won. So that one's kind of a draw. Depends on what situation we're talking about. Besides that, what I really want to talk about the comment section was that a lot of you guys are saying, why aren't you pulling for Kyrie X on your free-to-play account, which is this account right here. And on this account right here, I have 22,270. I have a lot of jewels. I have enough jewels, and I still have a lot of story mode to complete on Proud mode, where I can collect more jewels all the way in the end. Basically, I just did Proud mode all the way to the end till I could, and you guys can see here, I can still continue and get more jewels, and I still have Union Cross. There's a bunch of jewels laying everywhere. The point is that I'm not pulling on my free-to-play account because there's no point to me having 2 accounts that have Kyrie X. I'm not going to be able to help anyone, and I'm not going to enjoy it. Why am I going to play 2 accounts that have the same amount of power? I might as well just play 1 account and numbsly just swipe a couple medals, complete every event, and walk away and be like, you guys deal with it. You know what I mean? There's no point. My main account is super strong. I'm going to try to pull Kyrie X on there. And then my free-to-play account is still going to be an account that I use to make strategies, that I really try to figure out how to do all these events and try to compete in Coliseum and try to Lux farm and just everything, do high score challenges without a Kyrie X, because that is a lot of fun to me. Having a Kyrie X on my main account, it's going to be nice to see all that damage. It's going to be great to try to reach for top 1,000 in Coliseum. But at the same time, I'm seeing myself getting really bored of that account, like extremely bored of that account. Ever since I had Roxas EX and I got the HD Shion, I've been very destructive on that account, especially since Fairy Stars got leveled up so high. I didn't even need a Kyrie X. But once I get Kyrie X, I'm not going to need to even try to think of a strategy on my main account. It's going to be swipe Kyrie X, swipe my HD Shion, swipe Roxas EX, and then turn off the game and not even play it, because it doesn't count as playing. It's just so strong, where this account is going to stay free to play and is not going to pull Kyrie X, because I want to try to make strategies and I want to try to figure out how to pass events and enjoy the medals I actually pull, not just have them there to swipe and that's it. I actually want to see the combinations I can make, which Keyblade I should use, which medal combinations. That's just my opinion, guys. If a game's not fun to me, or if it's not hard, or at least trying to make me think, then there's just no point to the game to me. The game has to give me some kind of challenge to make it interesting. If there's no challenge, it's not interesting, it's not fun. Most likely I'll turn it off and not play again. That's just me. But again, free-to-play account is not polling because there's no point to having 2 accounts that have the same amount of strength. I'm just playing 1 account then. So that's it for this video, guys. I'm pretty sure I went over everything. I did this before the update happened. You guys can see in the shop, it's not here. So if anything else happens, I'll talk about it tomorrow's video. For now, I'm going to end this here. I have to wake up early. I have a lot of stuff to do. We're going to go winter shopping for Penelope. We're going to get her some winter clothes. I'm really excited for that. So is my wife. And that's pretty much going to be my day. So if I don't post a video tomorrow, it's because I'm kind of busy. But hopefully this was good enough of a talk. Everything in the comment section, again, I read everything. I know all the things you guys are asking for, the guides you guys want. I know a lot that's going on. It's just I gotta look for time to do all this. So hopefully I helped out. Hopefully we had a good talk. Hopefully some of the stuff I say makes sense. If you don't agree with me, as always, leave in the comment section. I do read everything, even the stuff you guys don't agree with. If it makes sense, I'll talk about it. I'll consider it. I'll brainstorm it with some people, and then I'll talk about it in the next video. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching. Keep on smiling, and I'll see you in the next one.